müzeyyen ve baki ve daimi bir tarla ve mülkü kazanmak veya kaybetmek davası başına açılmış. So what is that case? What's that affair? That we either win or lose. The case is this. He's first going to give us the evidence for the existence of the case. What's that affair? On the authority of that we either win or lose. Thousands of promises. The case is this. Thousands of promises and pledges of the universe's owner, who has disposal over it, the universe, and hundreds of thousands of the most eminent of mankind, and uncounted numbers of its stars and guides, i.e. people who have risen up as stars in mankind, have unanimously given news. They have all agreed upon something, and they have informed us about something. What is that? And some of them have actually seen it too, right? That, what is it? That for everyone the case has opened by which they may either win in return for belief or lose eternal, in return for not having belief, or lose eternal properties as broad as the earth set with palaces and gardens. I.e., what's that property? The paradise. Right? Win paradise or lose paradise, and the other side of deserve hell or not deserve hell. Eğer iman vesikasını sağlam elde etmezse kaybedecek. If they do not secure the document of belief, they will lose this case. And go back to the previous section that we read. There are two types of tawheed. Belief in the oneness of God. One is the general, the other is the analytical. Having the general is okay, but it is precarious, it's dangerous, it's weak, it's subject to the thief coming and starting to steal parts of it. And if you give a part, you are not unifying anymore. Right? You may lose it. So the case is big. If they do not secure the document of belief, they will lose. Ve bu asırda, and this is why it is even more urgent at this time, ve bu asırda maddi yunluk taunuyla çoklar o davasını kaybediyor. And in this age, many are losing the case because of the plague of materialism. You can take this at a philosophical level, which was more prevalent at the time that Zaman was writing this. Materialism as a philosophical approach to reality, right? It continues to exist, as we talked before, 8 to 12. We study science from that perspective, and perspective changes the quiddity, nature of things, right? But it goes beyond that. Materialism is now infused in our daily lives in the form of the distraction of everything that we are bombarded with in advertisements. Hatta bir ehli keşf ve tahkik bir yerde 40 refiyattan yalnız birkaç tanesi kazandığını sekeratta müşahede etmiş, ötekiler kaybetmişler. One of the diviners of reality, or Gnostics, people who are able to see the inner reality of things, and investigators of truth, has observed in one place that out of 40 people who died in that place, only a few won and the others lost. And we are not talking about somewhere where the name of the Prophet ﷺ has not been heard at all in America. We are talking about, majority Muslim post-Ottoman Turkey. Many of them may have been even praying 5 times a day. Out of 40, only a few won, others lost. acaba bu kaybettiği davanın yerini bütün saltanatı adama verilse doldurabilir mi? Can anything take the place of that lost suit, that lost case? Even rule over the whole world was given to that person. Property to all the Germans and the British. Take more, the entire world. Right?
Why do you think we are so numb and dull, you know, in the face of this case? You know, if we lose some money, let's say a couple of hundreds of dollars, it's a big deal, you know, you fight over it, you just call this guy, that guy, you spend days on it, you know, to get that money back, and it's kind of, I'm losing everything, but looks like I'm not really caring about it.
Yeah, but we can move to the Q&A right now at 11:40. I've told you now what
One
is
is
that?
immediate, the other is later.
Bir dirhem hazır, hazır lezzet, batmanlarla. So that's the nature of our nefs. That's the trick that our nefs is playing on us. Right? It prefers a little bit of immediate benefit to tons of benefit to come in the future. What's the cure to that? Actually, might give it.
In the beginning of the Shami and Damascus sermon, mentioning the stuff in the afternoon lecture we can read it as well.
Okay, but you was
So we can discuss that, showing the immediate pains and the pleasure, immediate pleasures. Yeah.
pains and the pleasures.
Yeah.
And this is the result of the nefs, yani only one properties of human being. Also we have a lot of faculties like brain, heart and other things. Other things are not like that. Only nefs or heves and all the same.
Wins.
They are only interested in the immediate pleasures, but others can understand the meaning of the big ones even in the future or not. And we can control our heves by means of brain, akıl, and heart. God, yeah.
I have a few questions.
Yes,
Oh,
brother.
it's not just to me, so
For everybody. So, in this 22nd verse flash, he says that it's superficial, this meaning of that ilaha illallah. Superficial and common affirmation of divine unity.
Mhm.
Superficial means fake.
No. It doesn't mean faking. So that's why I'm looking at the translation. Sahih.
Shallow.
It could mean shallow, but it can also mean fake, in the sense that.
So take it as shallow. Yeah. It's not fake. That's also why I try to emphasize the meaning of true there, because true implies that there's false, and that's not the case.
Not the
So when you say tawheed, hakiki,
Analytical.
that's the true meaning? Tawheed.
It's analytical. Yeah, and that's why I prefer the word analytical there. But even analytical does not convey the whole thing. You have to go through it and explain it. Right? The first one is still tawheed. Right? But the thing is, most Muslims throughout history had that kind of tawheed, but they were living in a context where the tawheed was not challenged. Thieves were not coming and keeping them, this is one, this little piece is mine, this little piece is mine. They were living in a Muslim community where the tawheed was not challenged, and therefore it was fine to have it. But as you probably read about a dream that Bediüz Zaman had shortly before the war, right? Not the war. Harbi Umide evvelinde, değil mi? At the beginning of the war, he has this dream that the Mount Ararat explodes, right? And so his interpretation of the dream is that the walls surrounding the Qur'an or surrounding the community of Muslims are going to come down. And then there will be all these attacks, right? And the Qur'an is going to defend itself. Right? You need to move on to a state where each and every person needs to be able to defend, because each and every person is going to be under attack. Like if you read Imam Ghazali's comments on the field of kalam, field of dialectical theology, right? He says it's necessary, but some people should busy themselves with it, so that they develop the answers that are necessary for the entire community when the entire community is challenged with questions. Everybody should not busy themselves with it, because there's a lot of nonsense that you have to deal with when you do it. Right? Some people should deal with it. But we move into a time where everybody is facing the question. And those sciences, those lines of thinking that the mutakallimun, that the people of dialectical theology have utilized in order to respond to those questions, need to be available to everybody now. Everybody has to have the analytical capability to respond.
So back to this, if I only believe in the first one, the superficial and common affirmation in this world, today here in America, then I don't really see Allah necessarily in everything as the second person name. Right? So I'm eating food, I'm doing my job, I'm creating things on my hands, and there's no Allah in any of it. Because La ilaha illallah is just superficial. So isn't that a problem? Is that a problem?
Yes.
I'm saying like,
Yes.
no. Like a hereafter perspective.
It's good as long as you can preserve it. The problem is very difficult to preserve it.
What do you mean by preserve what?
That understanding of the oneness of God. Everything belongs to God. Right? Everything is created by God. As long as you preserve that awareness throughout your moment to moment, it's fine. But it's a problem because it's very difficult to preserve.
If you don't have any doubts about Allah, then you are fine. But in this time, through total materialism, you are facing a lot of questions. So if you have doubts, I mean, first tawhid is not enough. That's why we need second type of faith. So it doesn't mean first one is not good, but because of the time and because of the challenge, so you may lose your iman right away. That's the problem.
And also, even we have iman today, we cannot be sure that, okay, with this level of iman, I can keep this iman until the end of my life. Yani, therefore, always I think I'm supposed to be not sure about that, and always try to enrich or improve my iman. Because this possibility is very harmful for me. I can lose everything. Therefore, I cannot be comfortable about that. Okay, today I have iman. That's enough for me. Let's look something else. And it's bad, I think. This type of thinking also shows that my iman, I think, is not good. Because I don't care a lot about the hereafter and the other things. I'm only thinking about this world life. It also shows that my iman is not maybe enough for that. Yeah.
I think the word is not shallow. What is shallow is the act of people, or in other words, the understanding of people of this utterance of La ilaha illallah. And so there are vast degrees of understanding of the word La ilaha illallah. So we try to refresh our understanding every day at instances. So I have a question. So we have little windows into the material world at instance, and we reflect on that scene or an event. And my question is whether there is a difference between a common man, but with a high level of human belief, and a kind of Muslim scientist. Is there a kind of difference of reward.
Let's go back to what you read in Masnavi.
Based on their pure intentions, if thus both of the persons could be, muflis,
Yeah.
having
So the
pure intentions.
two sentences we read at the beginning. Maddiyata esbab hesabıyla bakılırsa cehalettir. If you look at the material world and the name of the causes, or from the point of view of the causes, however many causes and effects you have unfolded as a scientist, ignorance.
Ignorance. But that's the first step.
That's the common
My
name.
question
More-
is
more
related to
distraction.
the second step. The second one is a practicing Muslim scientist, and who is reflecting on the nature of the universe to understand the cause of the causes.
Mhm.
So this man is highly, this man has a huge knowledge
Mhm.
on material world, and at the same time reads the Qur'an and tries to understand the meaning of it, even in the great book of the universe. So, but when this scientist, Muslim scientist, and at the same time a common Muslim man, like a peasant, reflects on, let's say, the ocean, on that window, is it fair to say it is the equal amount of spirituality they get in return as a reward, or there should be a difference?
I think we can talk about the potentials of each of these individuals in recognizing more of God's manifestations on the creation, in having more gnosis of God, right? But we can't talk about potentials. And at the level of potentials, I would say, and people can chime in here, I would say the scientist has more potential to know God. And the peasant, who doesn't have access to all those detailed forms of knowledge, has less potential. But whether one actualizes that potential more than the other, that's up to God to evaluate, because we cannot know what's in the hearts of people. But somewhere Ustad answers the question of why are the excuse me, word Frank or Ejnebi there? Why are non-Muslims not being destroyed? Because they are doing things that even the Qawm-ul-Lut, the people of Lut alayhi salam, did not do. And they were destroyed as a nation, as a community, right? And people are doing all sorts of things now, and they are just going about their lives. They are not being destroyed, right? And he answers saying, because at this time they unfold more of God's signs in the creation, and for those signs to be unfolded, exposed, God is giving them time.
They are having the fulfillment of the eternal wisdom.
Yeah. So there is a great benefit in that, if, and that's the important part, if it is done, it is perceived with the right perspective. And it's all about acquiring the right perspective. That's why we are doing all these readings. This is all an exercise in acquiring the right perspective.
But when it comes to equality of opportunity in terms of understanding the essence of nature and God, unity, they are on the same level.
Go on.
The common man and the
Scientists.
scientist.
Maybe scientists.
Regardless of their
Yeah.
knowledge, they must have the equal opportunity.
But they have different potentials, but each is going to be asked about how much of his potential he has fulfilled.
Okay.
So there is justice in that.
And I try to say that maybe not equal, but in adalet, and in justice. Justice. It means that the scientist has some advantages and also some disadvantages because of the coming from the negative points from the engaging on sciences. At the beginning of the Risale-i, Ustaz told that the eski side, old side, has wandered because of the sciences, wandered because of the philosophy and also the other positive sciences. Because positive sciences sometimes gives human beings mind as the zincir, chains. Yani he cannot think freely because that the rules, laws, everything takes his mind then unmovable. You got it? And science sometimes gives the negative points to his thinking. Therefore, there are positive points, advantages, and also disadvantages. If he can be careful about it, he can look always by means of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not by means of causes, then he can take much more benefit than the other one. But common person, not inside this type of dangerous environment. But the opportunity also may be a little bit lower than the other one. And also, Ustaz, I think they compare with the Ibn Sina and the child, I think, petty child.
A common believer.
A common believer. And the Ustaz told that sometimes that the common believer can get much more benefit from Quran directly, much more benefit than any scholar. And this scholar is not the scientist also. The Islamic scholar and scientist together. By means of purity of heart, by means of ikhlas. And because maybe the other person, that the scientist or the ulama, the heart of himself may be full with other feelings. You know, that maybe he forgot his, what do you call that, the abdiya, servitude, his level. And he supposed that maybe he has in some level. From that point, he cannot get pure knowledge from Quran, pure faith from Quran. And scientists, they're in danger much more than the scholars in Islam. By means of this, looking for advantage and disadvantage, maybe they are in justice, but not equal.
Can we say that there is first grade student and high school student, so they have the exam, but even if the first grade student give very, small answer, but he got the good grade, but high school student, responds a lot of more difficult question than, but he didn't get that good grade, so high school student has to work harder to get a good grade.
Exactly.
So based on that, the more one studies
and also
sciences and
the challenge is also increased.
We can give another example, maybe better. Let's consider one soldier. He has a gun, but there is enemy of him. He has a gun. This is first situation. What about second situation? And there is another soldier, but he's in what you call that the airplane.
Right.
Plane or there is also his enemy. He has the same thing. These two person is injustice, not equal. One of them has gun, another one plane. But in their situation, equilibrium. Why? Because their enemy is also the same. And in this worldly life, I think all the situation of people, human beings, like that. What I have, then the questions or my enemies has the same level. And also my challenge with according to my level. You got it? Shaitan of my shaitan's level is not at the same degree of the Ustaz ones or Rasulullah was. While my level is improving, also the weapons of shaitan, for me once, also improving for himself. Therefore, always there is an equilibrium.
Were you talking about coming to how we analytical means? what type of analysis is it? I was thinking maybe scientific method of analysis.
No.
But at the same time, I'm saying that some of these sciences can lead to danger. So what type of analysis is used to get to that belief?
But the analysis that we need at this point relates to those two forms of tawhid. We need to see seals of divinity, divine oneness on each and everything. And we need to develop the skills to see that seal. Right? So that's the kind of analysis we do. And that then relates to the first two words that were in those four words that we talked about at the beginning. Self-referential or nominative meaning of things, and then other indicative or indicative meaning of things. Each and everything has two, maybe three, but for the moment, two aspects. Right? The analysis, the line of thinking that we need to develop is the line of thinking that's going to show us the aspects of things that refer to God. And that is manifestations of God and His attributes, manifestations of God's attributes. We are trying to develop skills to see the manifestations of God's attributes on the material world.
So in other words, transcendental analysis, because positive sciences they are based on empirical studies.
Based on what?
Empirical studies, and they do experimentations, and they reflect just on the appearance or the physicality or aspects of objects that we can use the five senses. But here we try to go beyond those five senses and understand the causality.
I wouldn't use the word transcend, I would say metaphysical.
Okay.
Manevi, right?
Or related to transcendence.
That's a problematic term.
Is that?
Yes. So let's say metaphysical.
Okay, true.
So things have more than one faces. And with our senses, in a positive sense, with our senses, we can see one aspect of it. Seeing the other aspect requires training of the mind and the heart. And that's what we want to do. And the Risales are in its entirety a training session for you to see that. And that's why we read it.
And like I would like to refer back to Murad what you mentioned about. So it depends on your perspective and on your intention again, how you perceive the things. Like you can look a simple thing, but you don't have to be scientist to see everything in that. But if you still look with the perspective that like how beautifully Allah created this one, and you are looking through that window, and you are appreciating like His creation or His names, His beauty, you are over. You don't have to be like knowing that stuff, that substance in detail.
The beauty and the goodness in science and other methods of investigating the material world is that you have more to see.
Yes.
With the naked eye, you can see, 1,000 stars in the sky. Just making up 1,000 stars in the skies, in the heavens. You can turn to each one of them and say, the way you say to the moon when you say that right? My Lord and your Lord is one. Right? You can say that to 1,000 stars. If you take a telescope, you can see 100,000 stars, and then you can say my Lord and your Lord is one to 100,000 stars. You are fulfilling more and more of that potential, and that's why like the eventual station. If you go back to your analogy of the grades and the examinations, right? The diploma that the elementary school student is going to take is different from the diploma that the high school student is going to take. Right? But in terms of whether they are going to get the diploma or not, they are being tested in the same way. They are at the same level, and there's justice in the two. But they are not equal.
Yeah, definitely. So, when you consider this two student, if that guy get his diploma, that it means he's successful, right? So then, so you cannot say that guy, oh, why you didn't get the high school diploma, because he's not there. So he is successful, even he got the lower diploma, right?
If he translate it into what happens in the hereafter, and of course this is simplification, they both enter paradise because they both have faith and they have both proven their faith, but one level is at the second level of the Jannah, the other is neighbor to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
From normal Muslim to the Prophet ﷺ,
there are levels. I think we need to wrap up.
Yeah,
سبحانك سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. آخر دعواهم الحمد لله رب العالمين. الفاتحة.